Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. The Board of County Road Commissioners of the County of Kalamazoo for their September 9th, 2025, 3 p.m. meeting. First order of business is the public comment guidelines. Ms. Ryder, please.
This meeting is being provided under Act 267 of the Public Acts of 1976 as amended, or commonly referred to as the Open Meetings Act. During public comment, participants will have the opportunity to address the board at the beginning of the meeting and at the end of the meeting for non-agenda items. Public comments should be provided at the podium in order to ensure proper audio. Public comments, statements, or questions shall be limited to not more than 3 minutes for each person addressing the board. To provide public comment by Zoom, use the raise hand feature in the Zoom application. The host will ask you to unmute. For telephone audio, use *9. Use *6 to toggle back and forth between mute and unmute. As you participate in the meeting, your microphone will be placed on mute. The chat feature shall only be used to address any technical issues for public participation.
Thank you. If you could please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The goal of the Board of County Road Commissioners of the County of Kalamazoo is using our expertise, energy, and funds to provide the safest and most convenient road system possible and to contribute to the economic development and high quality of life throughout the county. Our goal is to maintain a county road system that is safe and convenient for public travel and to manage the roadside environment with a view towards preservation. Our first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. A motion would be in order.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Dickinson with support to approve the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion amongst the audience here in the building on the agenda or online? Hearing none, all in favor, or commissioners, any questions, comments from the commissioners on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries. Next is the approval of the minutes of the August 26th board meeting. A motion would be in order.
I'll make that motion. There was a repeat of one paragraph that's been corrected, so. Motion to approve as corrected.
Is there a second?
Motion to support.
We have a motion from Vice Chair Stayhauer with support from Commissioner Davis to approve the minutes of the August 26th meeting as amended. Is there any discussion amongst the audience here in the building or online or amongst commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the August 26th minutes as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next is the approval of the payroll and vendor accounts. A motion would be in order.
I'll make that motion. Thompson.
Is there a second?
Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Thompson with support to approve the payroll and vendor accounts. Is there any discussion amongst the audience here in the building or online or amongst commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the payroll and vendor accounts say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next is the public comment on non-agenda items. This is the opportunity for the public to speak on items not on the agenda. You have 3 minutes. Just give us your name and where you're from, and we'll go from there. Anybody here wishing to make public comment? Anybody online? Commissioner Gisler.
There you go. Thank you, Chair. I'm John Gisler. I'm a county commissioner, and the information I bring you today from the county is maybe not stupendous, but it's pretty important for us. We now have a new county website, and it obviously links with all the different agencies like RCKC and the townships and that sort of thing. And hopefully it's a lot easier to navigate around. There's a lot of information buried in there somewhere. In that respect, it's not unlike the RCKC website, which is robust beyond belief. And two things I would point out: it's still being, first of all, worked on. Bugs are being found almost as we speak. It's been up and running 2 or 3 months, and that's, you know, enough to find out what's not right. And the one thing that they want to use it for is to make sure people are aware of, first of all, job openings within the county, and also advisory board openings, similar to the RCKC's, a little, not exactly an advisory board, you guys are special, but it would give people an opportunity to know if there's a chance for them to serve the county and apply for some of these positions. That's it.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Any other public comment on non-agenda items? Anyone online wishing to speak, address the board? Hearing none, we will move on. All right, next is, on the agenda is correspondence. Item A, request receipt of the Michigan Department of Transportation County Act 51 mileage certification report letter dated August 15th. Managing Director.
All right, so this is the annual letter we received from MDOT, just verifying our total miles that we maintain here in Kalamazoo County. And just to share, I'm going to round to the nearest whole mile. Currently, we are 1,270 miles of road that we are maintaining. Of that, on the urban side, 182 are primary, and then local is 342. So with that, we recommend the board receive the letter and refer it to file.
Very good. Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Support. We have a motion by Commissioner Dickinson with support to accept receipt of the MDOT County Act 51 mileage certification report letter dated August 15th. Any discussion amongst the audience here or online? Or commissioners? Any discussion amongst commissioners? Hearing none. All in favor of approving item A under correspondence, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. And motion carries. Thank you. All right. Next will take us to new business. Under new business, we have item A, request approval of the Comstock Avenue, Sprinkle Road to River Street, final construction plan cover sheet, and temporary easements for Comstock Township. Managing Director.
All right, so our consultant on this job, who's Moore and Brugink, is here today, so we appreciate that. They've helped us develop plans and bid documents to mill and resurface a section of Comstock Avenue from Sprinkle Road to River Street. There's also some storm sewer replacements along with some curb replacements in the project. Total project cost is $2.45 million, excuse me. Of that, we have surface transportation dollars from Federal Highway covering $1.6 million of that. And then our responsibility is an additional $850,000. The section of road, this section of Comstock Ave also is included in our non-motorized plan. So there is a 3-foot paved shoulder that already exists on that road. But we did also reach out to Comstock to see if they were interested in making some improvements to the additional non-motorized, which would include sidewalks. And if they wanted to continue to widen the shoulder, at this point, they opted not to participate. So with that, Moore and Brugink completed the design of the project and is ready to submit the final plans to MDOT local road program for obligation of the federal funds for the project for the December 2025 MDOT bid letting. There are some temporary easements included in this project. So with that, Moore and Brugink's also working with the property owners to acquire those easements. These are minor type grading easements, primarily to facilitate smooth driveway transitions or to maintain lawn areas outside the curb and gutter. We anticipate the total of these easements to be around $1,100. So with that, we recommend the board approve the Comstock Ave from Sprinkle Road to River Street final construction plan cover sheet and temporary easements totaling $1,100 for the managing director's signature.
Very good. A motion would be in order.
I'll make that motion, Thompson.
And support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Thompson with support to approve item A, the approval of the Comstock Avenue, Sprinkle Road to River Street final construction plan cover sheet and temporary easements. Is there any discussion amongst the audience here in the building or online? Or commissioners, vice chair?
Being at Comstock Township Board meetings on occasion as liaison, I do hear the concern of pedestrians on that stretch of road. I'm glad to see we contacted them regarding wider shoulder and sidewalks. So could I surmise or understand there's been reasonable discussion with the township, they understand the scope of this project.
I have a correction also. Warren Burgink is not here today, so I apologize.
Okay.
I'm just a little confused. Thank you.
Go ahead, vice chair.
Well, I wanted to reiterate, there's been the concern for pedestrians on that piece of road. And I drive it on occasion so that I'm aware a little bit superficially firsthand of a little bit of the pedestrian traffic. And I'm pleased to see we have a project there and we have good engineering work being done and all. And I just want to know that the township's advised of the project and the scope of it. Thank you.
All right, our assistant county engineer has probably a few comments for us.
Yeah, just to address that, yes, I did reach out to Comstock Township. I'm aware of the concerns with the pedestrians, lack of sidewalk. There's varying bits of sidewalk out there. They're kind of patchy. Some are buried by the dirt, but we reached out to them. There was a quite large price tag associated with putting in new sidewalk. Additionally, the right of way out there is varying. At some points, it's very wide, normal 66 feet. Some points, it's much less. So there would need to be easements and that kind of thing as well. And so the township did elect, they asked the question about going to a paved shoulder, but at this time, they are not pursuing either one of those options.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Any other, Commissioner Davis?
Manager, Director, I was looking through some of the notes in the meeting packet. It didn't look like at the time of printing, we'd had any signed agreements with the property owners for the temporary easements. Is that just a matter of where we are in the process, that we haven't, begun connecting with them to get their signatures, or where does that stand right now?
Yeah, and Jim could probably give us some more details of the timeline, but you're absolutely right. We're in the process of gaining those easements.
Okay.
Yes, letters have gone out to the property owners for these temporary grading easements. So these will be primarily very small, beyond the back of the curb or maybe for a driveway. We try to do our best to transition mobile slopes or driveways that are relatively flat and even without a significant bump at the right of way. So we are reaching out to these folks to see if they'd be willing to grant us a temporary easement. Now, we're not retaining rights to that, just be to construct in that area and make their driveway or yard easier transition for them. To date, we do not have any signed, but this is kind of where we're at in the process. Being as we're targeting, I think it was a December letting, we still have some time to get these. But in order to hit schedules for trying to submit this to the state, we have to get this through for board approval and signatures. So it's kind of the process and the location we find ourselves in.
And what is the direct process for reaching out to those specific property owners?
It starts with a letter received from Warren Burgink, and then they follow up upon that. They'll call or stop by depending on what the impacts are or if there's concerns from the resident.
Okay,
And if needed, certainly I'll be out there with them as well if there's a desire to by the residents. In these cases, I would say a lot of these are fairly insignificant. It's not like we're taking a vast space. So I don't expect any issue with this, but you never know.
And how long do we have our permits for?
These are generally good for 1 year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor of approving item A, the approval of the Comstock Avenue, Sprinkle Road, River Street final construction plan, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Thanks, Jim. Item B, request discussion of written offer to purchase surplus real estate on Erie Street, Ashland Township. Managing Director.
All right, a little background here. So the origins of Erie Street can be traced back to 1957 when 1.33 acres of property was formally conveyed to the Road Commission by AT&T. In the early 2000s, as Ashtimo Township undertook a project to establish a rear entrance to a park, it uncovered significant discrepancies related to the precise location of Erie Street and the adjoining AT&T property. This discovery resulted in the drafting of new land descriptions and the exchange of titles to accurately reflect current ownership. This land swap was resolved in 2004. In December of 2024, so 20 years later, Ashtimo Township reached out to the Road Commission, indicating that they were working to develop the Fruit Belt Trail in the former railroad corridor, which is really where this AT&T property is. And this property runs from 9th Street west to the West Township line. Ashtimo Township acquired the property from AT&T in 2021 with the goal of installing a trailhead parking lot at the location outside the township park. The original intention behind the Road Commission acquiring the property was to enable an extension of Erie Street to the west as a public road. Ashtimo has indicated that there is no longer interest in extending any public roads west of Chime Street. So let me stop there real quick. So Erie Street runs from 9th Street west to Chime, and Chime runs north back to Stadium. So the Road Commission owns the property where Erie Street is, but we also own a piece of property about 275 feet west of that where there is no road. So this is the piece of property that's in question. I believe it's just over a half an acre. And this is what the township is interested in.
Managing Director, is that
Yes.
the strip behind the park?
It is to the north of the park.
Okay.
That is correct. So with that, Ashtimo initially requested that the Road Commission abandon that half acre of right-of-way west of Chime Street for parking purposes. However, staff concluded that the land is classified as real property and must comply with our sale of surplus real estate policy. So typically it would be right-of-way and we would go through the abandonment process, but in this instance we actually own the property, we purchased it, and there's no road in this area to abandon. It's simply just property. So it drove us to using our own policy related to sale of surplus real estate. So going on, this policy allows the board to consider real estate exchanges as part of the terms and conditions of sale. In collaboration with Ashtimo, we explored this opportunity and examined other Ashtimo-owned properties to exchange for Erie Street property. So we worked with Ashtimo, with the township supervisor, Ryan and I, and Vanessa, to see if we could just swap properties, right, for maybe an area we needed some additional right-of-way for an intersection. At this point, we did come up with an area just right adjacent to it that was just over a quarter of an acre at 9th Street in Erie. But at this point, we couldn't make that land swap. There's some more details surrounding that with the way that the township acquired the property through a grant. So it wasn't really an easy swap. So with that, timing was crucial for the trail project, and in April of this year, Ashtimo decided to proceed with the purchase of the desired land. They did, however, express their commitment to supporting future needs for the corner of Erie and 9th Street as those plans develop. So they are interested in partnering with us. On August 15th of 2025, we received a formal offer to purchase the property for a nominal cost transfer of $1 from Ashtimo Township. This offer has been reviewed, and we have confirmed that Ashtimo is prepared to cover all the associated costs in accordance with the established policy, including the purchase proposal, is a comprehensive appraisal of the property value, which is currently valued at $23,000. We have reviewed the purchase agreement provided with our legal counsel. The agreement aligns with our policies. The closing date, I believe, is unknown. It's would be just as soon as possible, so it's unknown at this point. I also would say, and I did mention this earlier, when we purchased the property from AT&T, we purchased it for $1. So with that, we recommend the board discuss the written offer to purchase surplus real estate, Erie Street, Ashmore Township, and determine how to proceed according to policy.
All right, well, let's start with a motion. Is there a motion to open discussion?
Motion to open discussion.
Is there support? Support. Any discussion amongst the audience discussing this? And then we'll get into actual discussion in a minute. Or online, or commissioners? In just 1 second, right after this motion passes, yes. Any commissioner comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay, discussion is open. We'll entertain Ashmo Township Supervisor Bell. If you'd like to add anything, we'd love to hear from you. Nope, up there, please. Yep.
Thank you, Chair Pulowski, Road Commission members, especially thanks to Director Bartholomew and Ryan Minkus. This has been a conversation long in the making. I will say that I thought it was going to be easier than what it turned out to be, and we were given your policy, and we did our very best to follow the guidelines within your policy regarding the transfer of real estate. I do understand why the fair sale of real estate is in there. I would say that if we were going to build a Starbucks on that half an acre, then I would expect that we would have to pay retail value for that, or market value. However, we're not. We're building a public trail, and it was only through Ashland received $750,000. Vanessa, this is our parks director. She knows the details about the trail, but we received a large Michigan Trust Fund grant to build this trail, and it was only through her due diligence that we discovered that the Road Commission owned this parcel. That's when we reached out to the Road Commission and started a conversation. And then subsequent to that, kind of a funny email from Travis, but like, you have to do this, Mrs. Bell. Okay. So then we went down the lines of meeting the policy requirements. I guess I'm hoping that you will see, based on page 83 of our information that we supported or provided to you, that we've invested a significant amount of money to meet your policy. And so I understand that selling us the parcel for $1 may not seem equitable perhaps to you all, except for we're not purchasing it to do retail business and make money. We're purchasing it to build public infrastructure. And since you're a public infrastructure organization, and so are we hope that you'll meet us in this place and accept our offer and allow us to move forward and complete the plans that are necessary for the trust fund grant so that we can get the trail built. So that close my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Supervisor Bell amongst commissioners? Commissioner Dickinson.
Hello. Just wondering, so your parks director, she's the one that realized that it was our property, and that was, had you already started the project, or was that in the process?
We haven't started construction on the project, but we had written a grant and signed the project agreements, kind of locking us into completing this project. Okay. And it kind of came out between the road commission staff and myself trying to figure out where the ownership was. It was a process that we both went through.
Okay. So it was in the grant was already agreed to before you knew.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. That was
and part of the due diligence of the grant is to confirm all that ownership of the various parcels before you can move forward. So before we can even accept a bid for construction, we had to verify. We have to own all the parcels in order to use the grant.
So when you said, managing director, that you swapped, so then we took over you swapped another half? Is that what happened?
No, so what we are attempting to do with Oshkosh Township is not do a land purchase, a real estate purchase, but literally a land swap. So we wouldn't have to go to the board with this whole process of purchasing the real estate. We would just simply come to the board with the road commission's interested in a piece of property that the township owns. The township's interested in a piece of property that we own, and we just simply swap. That was the attempt. It just would have been much faster, right?
Okay.
It would have been faster, and we had a lot of conversation around that. A parcel was suggested to swap from the road commission staff. It also happened to lie in our park, which is part of this trail. And so we went back and forth, and then to the credit of the managing director, we submitted all the parcels in the township that we own to see if there was something else that we could swap besides that. So we do intend to work with the road commission, as Travis indicated, on that corner of Erie and 9th Street, because that is misaligned with Atlantic, and believe me, I know more about those parcels now than I ever wished to know, because it was a kerfuffle in some past era, but doing the land swap in that way, and since it impacted our Flesherfield Park and the trail, it didn't make sense. So we tried to find another parcel. I know Travis looked. I think Ryan looked with him as well to see if there was another opportunity, but given the fact there wasn't another smooth transition, moving forward with the sale just made sense.
I will make one other comment on that. The parcel that was suggested for land swap is part of the park property, and it was acquired with trust fund dollars from our previous grant. So we are open to supporting the road commission when future road alignment happens. It's just we have to go back to the state first, request that portions of that land are redirected and to be used, because when you acquire property from Michigan Trust Fund dollars, it's supposed to stay in recreational use in perpetuity. So this is just one more step. And then our current grant that we have, Trust Fund grant for the Fruit Belt Rail Trail, the deadline to complete that is November of 26. And with our construction phase and everything else occurring, we didn't have the time to go back to the state and change the other property back and make that swap. So it is something that we're definitely open to. It was just a time-sensitive thing with this current grant guidelines.
Other questions from commissioners?
And so Supervisor Bell, you are asking that we don't charge market value. Is that what you're requesting?
We're requesting that you sell us the parcel for $1, because it's going for another public project. It's going for a trail. It's going from one public use to another.
Vice Chair?
I wanted to clarify, when the road commission gained this property, did it also include part of the present Erie Street? Maybe it's a complex question.
It did, from what I understand, right, if I'm correct, all of that area. And it's actually wider than a typical right-of-way. I believe it's 80 feet wide, correct?
So we're talking about a portion of that land that before somebody said, oh, maybe a road will proceed that way someday, and it's clear today that's not going to happen from a township perspective or our staff perspective, and the non-motorized trail is a great option. So
that is correct, and there wouldn't be any connectivity because the township owns the remaining portion of that railroad corridor.
Yeah. Okay.
Supervisor Bell, that street, that school that's there, China, is that not existing anymore? Because I'm wondering if
that corner, so Erie is actually quite short. I mean, I bet it's what, a quarter acre or a quarter mile long. Yeah, it's real short, and that makes a hard right turn, and then Chime goes out to Stadium. So, I mean, that's the situation where the roads are. So I think at some point in the past it was envisioned that Erie would continue west.
Okay.
And but since then there were, various land transfers, and then when the township acquired the railroad bed essentially from AT&T, that's when our commitment to making that a trail commenced, and it was no longer envisioned to be a connection between what would be 9th Street and then ultimately 6th, because the railroad goes, right, it goes to 6th.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, the Kalamazoo Public Schools did demolish the current China Street School, and they are in the process of building a street kitchen, which will serve all of their facilities without having individual kitchens at each school. They are now have one centralized, modernized kitchen.
Okay.
And the box trucks are going to go out every day to supply the schools with breakfast and lunch for the students. So it is still a KPS property, but it is no longer an actual school. They've torn it down and are in the process of building a brand new kitchen facility.
Now,
And
I'm just thinking about the road usage.
Yep.
Sorry. I was
There's
thinking of the road traffic back and forth there.
So there's the KPS property, which will have some commercial use because all of the meals for KPS will ultimately be cooked out of that kitchen and then shipped out to KPS. We have some understanding of the number of their anticipating panel trucks that will go in there. Probably like a semi truck going in there to deliver food products that are prepared. But the rest of it is just, I don't know, probably 10 residential homes. I mean, it's a real quiet street.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments or questions? Hearing none, so the gist of what Ashton was asking us is to sell this property for $1. I'm understanding that correctly. The only kicker is that goes against our policy, which says that we have to sell our property for fair market value. So here's our alternatives that we can. Some of the potential alternatives: we can accept the offer to purchase the real estate from Ashimo Township for $1, or we could, the board could counter the offer for the property with the $23,000 figure, and that $23,000 is the fair market value. We did get that, managing director. That was the
That's correct.
assessment.
That's what was provided with the property assessment.
The third option would be we could counter the offer with an undetermined amount of money, or the fourth is we could reject the offer. So I will open it up to a motion if they're so inclined. If anybody's...
One last question.
Sure, go ahead, please.
Would the grant be able to cover the cost instead of Ashtamo?
No, this is already out of general fund to fund this.
This grant falls under the development category, not the acquisition category of the
Oh.
funding.
Oh, darn. Okay.
Vice Chair?
I'd like to make a motion, if I can.
Sure.
That we accept the offer of Ashimo Township to purchase this for $1, and authorize the managing director to sign on our behalf. I appreciate all the work Ashtimo's done, our staff. It sounds like authority's not the right way, but it became very complex issue and costly to the township in both staff time and some dollars. Given we paid $1 for it, I think I'm very happy with $1, and it's going for public purposes, non-motorized. So the motion to accept the offer and sell it for $1 to the township.
I will support that.
I'll say we have a motion by Vice Chair Stayhauer with support to sell the property for $1. Is there any further discussion first amongst the audience here in the building? Commissioner Gisler.
Yes, I'm taking extensive notes, and I'd like to know the spelling for fumble.
I do.
Prickly is the word I would describe this, but yes, I think we were working it way through. So is there any other discussion amongst the audience here or online? Or final comments or questions from commissioners?
Yes.
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
So it is our stated policy that we're, the sale of the disposal of surplus real estate in a manner that will yield a fair and appropriate value to the board. That leaves it to our discretion to what fair and appropriate is. And I think that may be clear, may offer some clarity as to how we're acting. In my opinion, fair and appropriate is the public use that this is going to be going to, that we're exchanging our property and our real estate value for the value of recreational use and the infrastructure for future use of the land. So I think it's important to put that on record that that's the value that I feel it offsets the $23,000 that we might otherwise expect to receive from this should we offer it to public sale. And the other thing was, I think the $1 from 1954 should be adjusted for inflation.
Do we know what that figure is? Very good. Any other questions or comments from commissioners?
My only comment,
Yes,
I was going to ask managing director if there was possible that if they did find a piece of swap property, would that be an option, or is that off the table?
Well, at this point, it's off the table, but understanding our relationship with Ashmore Township, I'm sure we may go to their board someday with a purchase of a piece of property for $1 also, and I would assume they would entertain that.
Okay.
Very good. Anything else? Other commissioner comments, questions? I will agree with everything that was said. I think the public use is a great thing for it, and the fact that we paid $1 for it as well as the other kicker that confirms it. So I agree with everything. So hearing no further discussion, all in favor of accepting the offer to purchase real estate by Oshkosh Charter Township Chime Street for $1 for the managing director's signature, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Very good. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you for your hard work.
All right. That'll take us to item C under new business. Request approval of the cab and chassis truck purchase. Managing director.
All right. Outlined in our 2025 capital outlay budget and our 5-year equipment improvement plan is the purchase of 4 64,000-pound gross vehicle weight rating Class A cab and chassis trucks. So if you recall, we went to the board back in April of this year to purchase 2 of those 4 trucks that were in our current year's budgets. I say trucks, those are really cab and chassis, right? So they're basically the engine, transmission, the frame with a cab and wheels. They're not ready to plow snow. It's just the base unit. The other 2 units, we delayed them to do some further evaluation, determine the feasibility of building some larger trucks, trucks that we currently don't have here at the Road Commission. We have done this in the past where we've built what we call tri-axle trucks, and we currently have 7 of them. In this case, we're looking at building not 3-axle but 5-axle trucks, so significantly larger trucks. We feel it would be a good advantage, a huge advantage to us in our summer operations. These trucks would be built with what we call live bottom boxes. So instead of dump boxes where we lift the box to dump the material out the back, it actually has a chain and conveyor system that conveys the material out the back. And the advantage to that really is in the areas where there's heavy tree cover, power lines, communication lines. When we're chip sealing particularly, we cannot raise boxes in those areas. So we struggle being very productive and safe in those types of situations. So with these trucks, we literally could just turn on the conveyor and not lift the box and continue down the road with our operations. So with that, these 2 trucks that we're proposing to purchase will be configured a little bit different also for winter operations. They would not have underbody scrapers on them because they have so many wheels or axles underneath them. They would simply have a front plow and a side-mounted wing plow. Size-wise, they're actually a little bit larger than our current trucks. It would have a 13-foot front plow and a 12-foot side plow. on these trucks, but again, they're just configured a little bit different. Again, I wanted to point out this purchase is just for the cab and chassis portion. We would still return to the board as part of our 2026 budget to finish the build of these trucks, so that would be forthcoming. As far as delivery time, with Western Star, if we ordered them by the 1st October, we anticipate we would see them in January. We probably wouldn't see any work done to them till probably late spring, early summer of 2026, but our goal would be to have them in service for the 2026-2027 winter season. So with that, we'll take any questions, and we recommend the board approve the purchase of 2 Western Star 49X cab and chassis from D&K Truck Company, utilizing the My Deal purchasing program for a total cost of $370,104.
Very good. A motion would be in order.
So moved, Thompson.
Is there support?
Support, Stayhauer.
We have a motion by Commissioner Thompson with support to approve item C, the approval of the cab and chassis truck purchase. Is there any discussion amongst the audience here in the building about this purchase, or online, or commissioners? Questions? Commissioner Davis.
Managing Director, I was just real curious as to the how the maintenance differential between the live bed and the dump. With the live bed, there's a lot more moving parts and things that can go wrong. What's the projection on it, and what additional costs that may incur over the duration of the
Sure, absolutely. So good question. So a dump box requires minimal maintenance, right? But in our winter operations, we don't generally use dump boxes. We use what we call hopper sanders or sander inserts. And those are inserts that would have the same type of body on them as what we're proposing. So there really wouldn't be a cost savings either way, because the trucks we currently have, we have the same type of expense with those units. I think the only difference is in summer operations, we take them out. So with these types of trucks, we would have to use the conveyor system year round. So there is more wear to those types of units. Sprockets and chains primarily is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd anticipate we'd have to replace those probably every 5-6 years.
So a little more time in the shop, a little more, piece.
So they're going to spend a little more time in the shop, and there's going to be a little more maintenance with them. But again, at the end of the day, we're going to be more productive to offset it.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Vice Chair.
Does our garage have capacity for them?
It does. We built the storage facility for a fleet full of quad axle and 5-axle trucks, so they do fit in the current parking spots. And I will say too, this is an innovative type build to some degree. We're not the first to do it. Kent County has a small fleet of this type of truck. They use them in their paving operations. I think the only difference that you would see with our units is these live bottom boxes would be custom made out of stainless steel. So they would outlive the life of the truck, and potentially be put on the next truck, where the units you see out there today are made out of mild steel and probably don't much last as long as the life of a single truck.
Any Commissioner Thompson?
Just a couple of questions. I know you and I had a discussion about this. I know we use different type of cab and chassis. Is there a particular reason Western Star?
So Western Stars, I would say new to us, but geez, I can date us back probably 25 years ago. We had Western Stars here. We try to be predominantly international, Mack, Peterbilt, particularly because the dealerships are local. But we also have a Western Star dealership in Paw Paw now, so that's somewhat local to us also. Really, our options were limited with the quotes that we received for these types of trucks. It's a very large truck, and we felt we needed a large engine to be able to support that, especially in our winter maintenance operations pushing snow. So we only received a couple quotes utilizing the 15-liter engine. So it was really down to International and Western Star. And we historically used the International truck. but there was some distinct advantages to this Western Star, primarily the thickness of the frame, the strength of the frame, more than met our spec. And again, we're heavily loading this truck, putting a lot of large equipment on it. We're just trying to ensure that we're building a truck that will last its life expectancy. So also advantage to the bodybuilder. These Western Stars are built to be able to plug and play with all the different types of attachments that we have. So that makes it less costly on the building end also. So and there's some other minor things, we could share. Cooling capacity would be another one, but very similar trucks. And the local was $1,700 less, so international was a little bit less than the Western Star. But we just felt, building these trucks, we got one chance at it, one shot, and we probably ought to get the largest, heavy dutyest truck we can to be able to support this project.
Thank you.
And I probably missed it, Managing Director. You said we're gonna need additional equipment. Did we put those additional prices in our list?
So that's not included in this bid, Commissioner Dickinson. So we're still working with our bodybuilder to put this project together. Again, it's very custom.
Okay.
And once we do, we'll either put it out to bid or we'll use our purchasing program options to be able to buy this unit. That will be forthcoming in the spring of 2026.
Okay. Thanks.
So really all we're purchasing is cab and chassis. So just basically a cab sitting on a frame with an engine and a transmission and a bunch of wheels.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Did we get a motion on this yet?
No.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Thompson, supported by.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Item C is approved. All right, last thing on the new business agenda is item D, request approval of the Ashtabula Township local road contract. Item A, Green Meadows Road, Managing Director.
Well, it seems to be all about Ashtabula today, doesn't it? So this is interesting. So we have a local road contract with Ashtabula Township, and this really is tied to our neighborhood traffic management policy. So over west of Drake Road, we have recently worked with the township and the residents there to build that system to regulate speed of traffic right through the neighborhood. Yep. But there was one road in that area that wasn't part of the sewer project that wasn't getting paved, and this is that section of Green Meadow. There are speed humps that would go in on this section of road. So again, partnering with Ashtabula and we would like to pave that section of road before we put the speed bumps in. So with that, we recommend the board approve the Ashtabula Township local road contract with the chair's signature.
All right, a motion would be in order.
So moved.
Support. We have a motion by Commissioner Dickinson with support to approve the Ashtabula Township local road contract, Green Meadows Road. Is there any discussion amongst the audience here in the audience or in the building, or online, or amongst commissioners? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving item D, the approval of the Ashtabula Township local road contract, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. All right, this will be our second time of our meeting for public comment on non-agenda items. Another opportunity to talk to the road commission about non-agenda items. Anybody here in the audience wishing to address the road commission or online? Hearing none, we'll move into managing director's time. Managing director.
All right. Well, I just wanted to share, and I missed this with the local road contract, but there are no part funds tied to this project, so Ashtabula is paying for this section of road exclusively. So thank you, Ashtabula.
Good to know.
All right. We have a couple of guests here today I want to introduce. First of all, we have a new employee, Matthew Butler. He's a new heavy-duty mechanic here, so classification 1A. So welcome, Matthew. Matthew started here on the 4th of September. And then also we have Zachary, or Zach as we call him, Thomas. Zach is one of our has been, one of our apprentices. So he just recently completed his apprenticeship here in August of 2025. So he's now promoted to a classification 3 road maintenance operator. So congratulations, Zach.
Congratulations. Yeah.
So just a little detail with our apprenticeship program, particularly with our road maintenance operator. And we actually call it a roadway technician as part of the Department of Labor's program. So this is a partnership between the Road Commission, Teamsters Local 214, and the U.S. Department of Labor. So we all partnered together, put a program together, and we are now bringing on apprentices. This is our second apprentice that's been through this program. It's our third apprentice total. We have one that's a mechanic, but this is the second one for our roadway technician. So I also want to mention that Zach had completed over 4,500 hours of training in his last 2 years, which included a Class A CDL. So he is now able to drive snowplow trucks. So also our investment, we couldn't figure out exactly, but it's well over $140,000 once we figure in wages and training and even assistance from the rest of our team. With that, I want to give a special thanks. He's not in here today, but Joe Ricks, his mentor, did a great job with him, and also 2 of our road maintenance superintendents, Joe Peck and Tony Allen, that oversaw the program. So again, congratulations, Zach. All right, a few other quick things. We've been touting this open house that's coming up on September 24th. Now it's turned into an extravaganza. So really, we're trying to promote this heavily with our townships, elected officials, and employees of the townships, and even the county for that matter. Really just trying to get them to come to our facility. We're having an open house, so we're going to have some refreshments, games, prizes. We're just trying to keep it more low-key and educational. It'll be interesting. We have quite the setup here in our boardroom. Kind of looks like a roundabout, and we have a bunch of different tables set up with displays and people staffing it. So just thought we'd try something new, but it's only as good as the people that show up. So please pass this around, and hopefully we get good attendance with them. All right, just a couple other things I wanted to mention. We had a Commissioner's Road Tour planned for this Friday. I need to cancel that, so I'm on vacation. If there's commissioners who want to have one before our next quarter, let me know, and we can plan something on a Friday. But if not, we're just going to move ahead to the next one that's scheduled. Couple of things project-wise, our chip seal program. We hope to always be done by the end of August. We had some delays with some primary road projects that we're finishing up and trying to coordinate with not putting asphalt trucks on our new chip seal. So we are wrapping up chip seal tomorrow. We're working today and tomorrow to get that finished up. We are also moving ahead with a contingency project. So we have Pitcher Street, south of Mazel, to the city limits as a contingency project for this year. So we are moving ahead with that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, and that's getting to be late notice, but the Commissioners Conference. I know Commissioner Stayhour is going, but if anybody else is interested, please see me or Selena.
Okay.
So that's all I have, unless there's questions for me.
Questions for Managing Director, Commissioners? Vice Chair?
I'm glad to see work happening at Pitcher and Mazel, but I didn't have context, so just a little more overview there. The work's more than the intersection. It's our work. Who's implementing the project there?
Well, it's interesting because it's more of a joint project. So graphic packaging was required to do some lane widening there. I believe it was a center turn lane, wasn't it? It was widening. Right. Oh, right turn, excuse me, a right turn lane. So we partnered with them. They're getting it to the point of top course of asphalt, and then we're paving the entire road. So there's somewhat of a coordination there, but it is the entire section of road, the primary section south of Mazel to the city limits.
Very much needed, and those semi drivers there will greatly appreciate some space to maneuver other than blocking all lanes as they do it. So glad to see that. Thanks.
Other commissioner questions? Yes,
Madam
Commissioner
Director,
Davis.
this just goes to my ignorance because I'm young and
That's
new at this
okay.
position, but in the self-insurance pool August newsletter we got out, there was this article about the ability that back in 2018 legislature granted us the right to fine people that were working in our easements without permits. And I was just curious, what's our current policy on that, and where are we at with? Is that something we're aggressively pursuing?
We have not fined anybody for working in our easements. I mean, we've obviously stopped the work, right, and then worked with them to get a permit in place.
Right.
I think that's probably the best way to go about it, unless we run into a situation where they don't stop work,
Right.
and don't want to work with us. But we haven't ran across that yet.
Okay. I'm always looking for streams of cash. I need extra more money. So thank you.
Good question. No, and that's why these terms are 6 years, because it takes a lot to
Takes
soak a
while to
lot
come up
of.
to speed. The other thing I wanted to say was this looks like finally something I can bring my 16-year-old to and show him what his dad's been doing this last couple months.
Very good. Other questions for the managing director, commissioners?
I just had one. Are you getting me any pink road commissioner attire? My blue.
Hard hat and vest.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, we will move into commissioners' time. Commissioner Davis.
I have nothing to report. Thank you.
You bet. Commissioner Thompson.
The only thing I have is coming up September 18th. I have the County Board of Public Works meeting. That's it.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Dickinson.
I have no report, but just welcome Matt and Zachary to the team.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Dickinson. Vice Chair Stayhauer.
I just pick up on what Commissioner Dickinson. Welcome to Matt and Zach. Great to see we have this apprentice program and success of it. I see it takes lots of effort, so on all parts, so very much appreciated. We know our staff is gradually turning over. Enough old fogies like me, maybe some younger people. So thank you very much to both of you there and our staff that helps pave the way there. County Parks had a ribbon cutting last week in lieu of the regular County Parks Board meeting for the Woollen Preserve. Their open house occurs this week Saturday, so public should be aware of that. A beautiful park there. It was a great afternoon on September 4 to have the ribbon cutting. It recognized contributors, donors, key players, and real heartfelt thanks to all those folks. We've mentioned Commissioner Conference, so that's covered. I think that's all I have right now. So good news for Ostramo. I don't think they'll need me at their board meeting tonight because we settled their issues. But anyway, their board meeting is tonight, and perhaps I'll go, but we'll talk with supervisor there. So thank you. That's all.
Very good. Thank you very much. Again, I'll just echo the work of the apprenticeship program that we have here. I want to thank the journeymen who take the time to train our apprentices. Without them, they couldn't have that program, so I really appreciate it. It's a great program, and I'm total support of it, and want to see it continue to grow and continue to do good things for our road commission. Other than that, I think I'll stop there as well. A motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Support. We have a motion and support to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Very good.
Mary Bell has a whole